Neutrality. It won't get you a statue. But it'll certainly help in keeping you alive. I won't abandon Ciri.
Neutrality has consequences too.
You're right.
I'm right. Well, that's deeply worrying.
Everything that's happening. It's all connected. And she's at the center of it.
If war is coming, there is no hiding her from it.
You sure about this?
Are you? History has a way of repeating itself. The dangers we've seen foretell an even more menacing future. For the first time, I understand real fear.
We're witches.
Is that so?
I'll never get over how cute they look for monsters. And they're like, no, please don't hurt me. And then, wow. Fangs. Just like a boatload of fangs. All up in your business.
All I want is for us to stay together.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Netflix dropped a new Witcher Season 3 trailer. There's a whole bunch of new footage. It's actually a pretty big trailer, so we'll break it all down. The other big thing is this is meant to be Henry Cavill's last season on The Witcher, even though the show is continuing, so I'll explain what's going on with that too. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. They're breaking the season into two halves. They're doing a Stranger Things, like they did that during Season 4 Stranger Things. They'll do it during Season 5 as well, where they released the first 5 episodes, then they released the last 3 episodes about a month later. But the big thing during this is they're adapting Blood of Elves, which is just the next book in the story based on what they adapted last season, even though they change a lot of things from the books. Just going through the trailer shot by shot, just because there's so much stuff in here, they start at the ruins of the Sherwood, which is a big place for the elves, and he talks about neutrality. Neutrality will get you nowhere, but the thing is that he's trying to convince Ciri that neutrality is the best way to survive, because this is a reminder of what happened to the elves, about how they were killed off. On the other side of this is meant to be Yennefer, like she's slowly kind of winning over the team, like she's slowly making amends for what she did last season, trying to kill Ciri to get her power back. I'm sure there'll be a couple conversations about that at the beginning of the season. Sorry, I tried to kill you. Because one of the other big things during the trailer, like one of the big themes that you see is Ciri learning magic from Yennefer. And the whole idea is I think by the end of the season, they're on their way to Aretuza so that she can learn even more magic. She's meant to be one of the most powerful characters in the Witcher universe just because of her Elder Blood powers, but one of the other things in the trailer too is her showing off her Witcher training fighting a bunch of monsters. The whole idea is that Geralt and Yennefer have been trying to teach her to hone her skills so that she can protect herself. Previously, she was kind of like a Grogu character, super powerful but needed a lot of protection, but just like on The Mandalorian, Grogu is slowly becoming a Mandalorian, honing those skills, more practical fighting skills. He's also deepening his connection to the Force, becoming more powerful. Because when Geralt is talking about neutrality, the other big thing that's happening, like you have all these different sides that are warring with each other. You have Ciri's father, Emperor Emhyr of Nilfgaard, that wants her for her power. You have the Wild Hunt who's coming from that other planet that want her for her power. And you also have a bunch of elves in the trailer here that want her for her power. So everybody is trying to vie for Ciri, for good or for worse. Most of them for worse. One of the other interesting things, I was really surprised by this, is when you see them fighting the elves in the ruins here, Robbie Amell, of all people, who most of you probably remember from the Arrowverse or from some other recent movie, he's been in a bunch of stuff recently, is going to be part of these elves, but he's not featured anywhere in the trailer. I think he's supposed to have a big scar on his face. During the fight here, it looks like Yennefer's trying to open that big portal. Then pretty much anytime you see anything in the trailer being set on fire or fire being shot at people, it's probably Ryan's, who's working for Vilgefortz, who's working for Emperor Emhyr. So this is Nilfgaard basically coming for Ciri. Ryan's is meant to be a proxy for a lot of that story. That's basically the way it plays out in the books too. You see him fighting both Yennefer and both Geralt in a bunch of different scenes and setting a lot of their houses on fire across the way, because one of the other big clips during this, you actually see them living life as a family. It's meant to be this picture of what their life could be like, so you meant to look at it from both Geralt and Ciri's perspective. Like, there's a voiceover from Ciri in the trailer where she says, I want to keep us together. Like, she wants to be a family with them because they're kind of like her adoptive parents, and Geralt is also starting to grow to enjoy this. He starts to think of Ciri as a daughter, a lot like the Mandalorian. Like, a lot of comparisons with the Mandalorian, because the way he's trying to protect Ciri and teach her to protect herself is the same way the Mando is doing with Grogu. One of the other big things about The Witcher is the monsters themselves, and they do try to feature a couple big monster fights. The fight in the maze is just meant to show off the things that Ciri learned from all of her fight training during Season 2. Like, oh, see, she can actually protect herself a little bit, like she avoids the monster. The Wild Hunt aren't specifically monsters themselves, like that's just armor, they just use magic to modulate their voices. During my previous videos, like my last trailer video, I talked about the White Frost film because that's like the main big bad of all the Witcher stories, like all the books, everything, even the games. The way they portrayed that in the video games is it's more of a force of nature that Ciri has to fight, but the way that the TV show portrayed it is that it's more of a person behind that. It seemed like ultimately the White Frost was trying to manipulate everyone, including the Wild Hunt themselves. So we'll see how they develop that during Season 3. Like, they plan on going 5 seasons. We'll see how long it winds up going with Liam Hemsworth, because they did say that they plan on going through Season 5, and they're shooting Season 4 and Season 5 back to back. So even if people have a problem once Liam Hemsworth takes over during Season 4, they'll have already filmed Season 5, so like it'll already be in the can. So I'm assuming if they reveal what's really going on with the White Frost on the TV show version of The Witcher, it won't be until like Season 5, but we might get some clues this season. It seems like mostly during Season 3, it's more about revealing what the Wild Hunt wants with Ciri and them learning about that, because Geralt hasn't completely figured that out yet, even though if you've read the books or you played the games, you know what's going on with the Wild Hunt and Eredin. The other interesting thing, too, is it seems like their boat fight against this monster while they're on their way to Aretuza is against a monster that was supposed to be during Season 2 because it's featured on this Season 2 poster that they revealed. Maybe they just cut it for time or something or decided to move it to Season 3. This shot of Ciri is at a festival. They're looking at a caged monster, and I believe it's meant to be a wyvern. They have a couple scenes of Geralt and Yennefer at a festival, like it's real quick, blink and you'll miss it, but it's them sort of rekindling their love for each other. Because remember, Geralt wasn't a big fan of Yennefer during Season 2 because she was trying to kill Ciri. This is meant to be a shot of Sintra. This is meant to be a shot of her father, Emperor Emhyr, looking at her picture when she was younger. Cahir is another big villain during the season, but he's not featured a lot during the trailer, like he's still a big thing during this season. I think they're slowly transitioning to the idea that Vilgefortz is behind this too, working with Emperor Emhyr. So they want to slowly move on to like the next level of big bads, and they just introduced Emperor Emhyr in a big way during last season. They had that funny scene in the woods with Geralt and Jaskier where Geralt agrees that he has the right idea and that worries him just because he's supposed to be a fool. Wait a minute, you agree with me? This is deeply worrying. Something very bad must be coming. In fact, just based on the trailer, several bad things are coming from all different factions. These scenes of Geralt and Yennefer at the ball might be from the Thained Ball from Time of Contempt, which might happen somewhere around the middle of the season. It does seem like they're going to spill into the next part of the story too, like not just Blood of Elves. There've already been big balls at Aretuza in previous seasons. This one is meant to be even bigger. And even though I just mentioned what's happening with Vilgefortz working with Emperor Emhyr, the Nilfgaardians, the whole idea is that the Council of Sorcerers also wants Ciri for her power too. So they're yet another faction. They also tease Dijkstra here, played by Graham McTavish, becoming a bigger threat during the next season too. And if it wasn't clear last season, the owl that he kept talking to was Philippa's character, this person here. The whole idea is that even though there's this big conflict and everybody is coming for Ciri to take her for her power, there's also Emperor Emhyr who's trying to conquer and unite the entire continent. So you have this big supernatural battle going on around Ciri, but also this very practical, regular type of battle fighting for supremacy in the continent. Probably one of the other biggest changes from previous seasons is that you see the entire family, so to speak, like make all the Vin Diesel memes that you want, family, fighting together because now Ciri does have at least a little bit of skill. Like, she's getting better. She's not that great a fighter, but she's getting better. Like I said, though, this will be Henry Cavill's final season of The Witcher. Like, he's basically just moving on to his own projects. Like, I released that Warhammer trailer video that he posted. He's going to be working on a Warhammer series and Warhammer movies at Amazon. Part of the idea, too, is I think that he wanted more creative control, and he just didn't have that on The Witcher. Like, he didn't agree with what they were doing, changing some of the story. He wanted to do some other things with the character, and they had other ideas. So even though it sucks that he is leaving The Witcher, he is moving on to a big Warhammer series. It should be really exciting to see what he does with that. The other really big thing that's happening is that Marvel's Secret Invasion episodes are starting in the next couple of weeks. I'll be doing episode videos for that. Click here to watch the first 5 minutes of Secret Invasion episode 1. It's the entire opening scene. And click here for my Henry Cavill Warhammer trailer video to learn about that series. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.